Welcome to another edition of Manitoba Music Makers. I'm your host, Frank McGuire. We're taking the show on the road this week. We're live at the 40, live to tape, and we're talking to Winnipeg rock band The Bloodshots here on stage before night number 2 at their weekend here at the 40. Hi, guys and gal. How you doing?
Hey, hello.
Great.
Frank, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you all. Okay, so around the horn here, of course, we got CJ. Introduce the band for us.
Well, like you said, I'm CJ. This is Kate on bass. We got Keith Skozik, original member on rhythm guitar and backing vocals, and Ben Hodges on drums over there.
Okay, so now night number 1 done in the books here at the 40. You got a good feel for the Brandon crowd. You're a Winnipeg group. Probably play a lot around the Winnipeg area. There may be a slight difference, home court advantage, as they say when you're playing Winnipeg. Let's talk about shows you've done lately. Get us up to speed, because there's a lot going on in the world of the Bloodshots, CJ.
2024 has been really good to us. We kicked it off in January with a big show on the road down in Hollywood at the Whiskey A Go-Go, the famous rock and roll venue. And made our way back home, did some festivals out east, and, come back around, did a lot of stuff around home, and it was August, I believe, that we did the Burt Block Party outside the Burton Cummings Theater with Headstones, I Mother Earth, Sloan. That was a great show, big crowd. We were very well received. We gained a ton more fans from that show, so that was awesome. And, a few weeks after that, we played a sold-out show at the Exchange Event Center in Winnipeg, opening for 80s legend Sebastian Bach. And that was a wicked night.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Great crowd.
You want to hear my Sebastian Bach impersonation?
Oh,
Absolutely.
All right, come on, mother truckers.
Hang on.
Yeah, spot on.
Anyway, I just pulled that out of the ether. Stuff like that might happen when I interview people on the Manitoba Music Makers. It's spontaneous, and that's just the way I like it, right?
I think I heard him say that 2 or 3 times that night, so yeah.
It's one of his favorite sayings, yeah.
I forgot he does the whole mic swinging around thing. That's his staple.
Yeah.
He takes the cable and swings the mic around like a big thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was funny. Like, you could see he hasn't lost any of that voice. Like, he's still banging.
And what a voice.
Yeah. Amazing. Like, Motley Crue, what are you waiting for? Hire this guy,
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed was that mic swing. It was like the shoulder doesn't do the same. He was kind of, and I feel his pain. That's about as high as this one goes too. So
you're talking the Block Party, and would you put that in one of your top 5 gigs for the Bloodshots?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a big one. Just to have that hometown outdoor big festival feel downtown, right in downtown Winnipeg. It was, top 3.
And then the cool thing about those gigs with multi-band, lineups, you get to kind of check out what the other bands are doing after, and you're close and up on the side of the stage or whatever vantage point you might have.
Yeah.
When you're in that type of situation, guys and gal, what do you take away from that? What's the main thing you're looking at when you're looking at another performer that's been in the game a lot longer, has a little bit more of a polished act, way more stage experience? What are you trying to get from that?
I think you just try to absorb as much as you can, right? I've always been going to any shows when I would go, even as a young adult or as a teen. I was always kind of looking at it as I was doing homework almost, I wasn't really there in the pit, getting thrashed around and stuff. I was mainly watching and being just learning, and I think we all kind of talked about how, especially Hugh Dillon, maybe Canadian, one of Canada's best frontman. He was just commanding that crowd, and he was so nice. We met him backstage, and he made you feel like he was genuinely happy that you were there, and it was just taking those little things from the back. Edwin too. Edwin was wicked. Mm-hmm. He had some good stories, and you just see them up there comfortable doing their thing, and you're like, that's what I want to get to, right? Mm-hmm.
You want to get to the point where you're playing your stuff and you're so confident that you're just kind of loose and you're strutting. You're putting on a show that you're like, hey, you're commanding the attention without even trying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're trying to do, right? You're entertaining people. That's the bottom line.
Right.
And
so live shows, is that the main thing? Like you guys and gal, you're putting on that show. That's it. It's like, okay, we're kind of it's your job. Like intrinsically, any band knows when they get on the stage, you got to put on a show. But is that the mission?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of bands, you go there and I don't want to say take themselves too serious, but they kind of it's almost like they're playing for themselves. And you got to remember that you want people to come and see that. That's what you're doing it for, right? And bottom line, you got to entertain those people. And that's just something that we've all brought to the party, especially last night. There was a point in the show where the dance floor kind of cleared. They went up and got some drinks and we're hanging out at the tables there. So Kate, wireless bass, she got down there and she walked right up there during one song, and within 10 seconds the floor was full again. It's all just little things you got to do to keep the show going.
Yeah.
Kate's like, hey, we're interactive over here. We're interactive up here. Come on, let's have a fun time. Because let's face it, you don't want to just have them come out to one show.
No.
You want to have the people come out again and again and again, right?
It takes time and effort to build a fan base in especially remote areas or places that aren't your hometown anymore. So you have to make a lot of noise or try and do something a little bit more memorable, right? And then hopefully just a game of telephone will take it off, and then all of a sudden you got a full crowd the next time you come.
Perfect. So that's awesome. I like when bands do stuff like that. You do something unexpected. You do something unpredictable, right? And people go, like I've never seen that before. I didn't imagine the bass player coming out with a wireless bass and pulling people to the dance floor. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
More bands should do stuff like that. I've seen bands, I've seen it go wrong. We go back to Sebastian Bach. I remember I don't know if it was here or another bar in Brandon where he stage dove. And it didn't go so well because instead of the embracement, it was like the sea parting. Oh, no. And he didn't go. He did get back up and finish the show, but I'm sure it didn't go as he had planned. Have you done anything like spontaneous like that you never know what's going to happen? You never know what the result's going to be. Caitlin, when you did that, did you just go, I'm going to go for it, what the heck? And what were you thinking the end result was going to be?
Well, yeah, it's a little weird. Like sometimes you walk over to the tables and they just like stare at you. They're like, what are you doing here? And it's just like, it's kind of having that confidence to just stand there and be like, I'm here and you're looking at me like I'm weird, but I'm still gonna do it. It's that kind of thing. And then the total other side was like last night when I walked over there, they were like, oh my God, and they were all trying to take selfies with me and take pictures, and then I was like, let's go. So then they all just stood up and they went with me, and it depends. Yeah. It depends on the table, on the crowd, on like the venue and where we are, and yeah, so it's just kind of, sometimes it's awkward, but sometimes it goes really well.
That's good, as long as you're batting at least 500, and you never know until you try, right? You never know what's going to happen until you do something. As long as everybody's having a good time, no one's getting hurt, there's nothing too crazy going on. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So let's talk more about live shows. You've got Brandon this weekend. You've got a good foothold in Winnipeg, your home base. Let's do a little back history before we get to the upcoming shows, because people watching Manitoba Music Makers want to get a better feel and better a grasp on what the Bloodshots are all about. When did you start? Because you're not a young band anymore by any stretch of the imagination. You've been in the game for a while now.
Yeah. We so I had the idea of the Bloodshots kicking around for a while, and we really got going 2013, and then that was the slow stage of just kind of getting together and pumping ideas out. And Keith and I went to high school together and everything, and we always talked. We played in different bands back home at the time, and we always talked, we got to start something, and finally we just were like, we're not getting any younger, let's do this, right? So we started the Bloodshots then, and we've had some members come and go as a starting young band does, right? But Yeah, it's been just over a decade now, and it's only ever gone like this for us. So we gotta keep the foot on the gas.
So Keith, let's talk about some of the bands that you were in before hooking up with CJ and getting the Bloodshots going. What sort of stuff were you into as far as music?
Mostly punk rock music. I was in a few different bands there early on. Actually in a band with a previous bass player that was in the Bloodshots. We had a band called Facts of Fiction. It never really went too much anywhere, but it was fun and it was geared toward punk rock style. And then
and that was kind of what the Bloodshots were all about from the beginning, right? More of a punk sound. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, we kind of we had my influences mainly came from the early the grunge kind of movement in the 90s, and then followed up with the East Bay kind of Rancid, Offspring, Green Day thing that took off. And Keith was very in depth on the punk, and one of the things we said when we started the band is that the song's just got to be catchy. I don't care about amazing solos or, making a long, drawn-out ballad or anything like that. Like, we just wanted to have catchy, punchy, punk-feel rock songs, And I think, who was it? Was it Trevor from Econoline? Or they're like, you guys have your own brand. It's like grungy punk and roll. So we took that and we're running with it. Yeah.
I like that. Caitlin, how about yourself with bands prior to the Bloodshots?
Well, I did a few bands. They didn't really go anywhere. I was I'm only 22, so the things that I did were when I was 15, 16, and it didn't really go anywhere.
So when was the moment when you got into this band? How did that happen?
So I actually had met them, these two, actually before this happened that I joined. I knew them since I was probably 15 or 16.
Really cool story.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hear the story.
So I was part of a music school, and that music school did a fundraiser where they brought in local bands, and the students at the music school would replace one of the members in this local band, and we would put on a show with all of these bands, with all the kids with the bands, and we would play all together. So I actually got paired with these guys. So that was really cool for me. I was 16 probably. I was playing guitar for them. I added some backing vocals into it, and it was just a really good time, and I had a lot of fun with them. And they taught me a lot about music and performance and all that, so it was really great. And then it was actually Ben that had sent out an ad being we're looking for a bass player. And I was like, hey, I know these guys. I've played with these guys before, so whatever, let me just try. And then they were like, yeah, let's do it.
So okay, in the order, Sean and CJ, you guys are the two kind of original members, right? Who came third? Was it Ben that was are you the original drummer?
No, I'm not. I think I'm the third drummer in the band at that point. Yeah, and I met these guys, CJ and Keith. I met them through playing shows with them. I was in a Brandon bass band, left to center for a long time. I've been playing since I was 18. And yeah, we teamed up to play shows before. We opened together for One Bad Son when they came through, and the Lazies, and I've always been a fan of their music, and it was right time, right place. I was on my way out to the one band. I was losing a bit of creativity and wanted something a little bit more. So we actually were at a show together in Winnipeg, and I was on my way out, and their drummer had just left. So it was right time, right place. CJ messaged me the day after the show and just said, hey, who are you playing drums for these days? You feel like you want to try out for us? And match made in heaven.
So you saw the opportunity.
Yeah. Been about 2 years.
Capitalized on the opportunity. Yeah.
I've been in the guys for 2 years now. So
yeah, 2 years, and things are great. Lots of shows,
fantastic.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, fantastic. Getting opportunities I never really expected to get. And I'm also learning a lot from these guys. Like I gotta throw props to CJ as our leader. He puts a lot of time into putting into I'm gonna fill your cup a little bit. I know I've been waiting for that. No, but he puts in a lot of time into making connections, making sure our merch is top of the line, making our show the best it possibly can. And all these guys, we all have our great roles that we contribute to putting on a great show, and that's where I felt like I have great value all of a sudden. I can contribute to something, and it's not, I don't see it as a project, I see it as a process, a team, and it's the big end goal that we're trying to reach towards. I just found like we're all on the same page and we all want the same thing, and it makes it so much easier to work with.
Who does your marketing and your merch and your management? Talk about that a little bit about.
Me.
There's a quick, easy answer. There we go.
Yeah.
I've basically manager, booking agent, merch designer, merch.
He does a lot.
We use a few different places to get the merch done up, but since day one I've just been like burning the candle at all three ends.
Is this a full-time job, or do you have a day job and this is like a side gig? How would you kind of compare that?
Yeah, we all have day jobs as well. I mean, I think the ultimate goal for this would be to be able to sustain a career out of doing it right. And sometimes you get a little distraught in it, like, it gets exhausting, or it gets feels like you're just kind of spinning your wheels. And then you play a show with the Headstones and you have a guy like Hugh Dillon saying, don't stop, just keep going. Wow. You don't know how long it'll take. It's just one single, and I think all of us, like Ben had said, we're all on the same page of this thing where if we put in the work, you never know what could happen. And if it doesn't happen, whatever, it doesn't happen. We had a great time rocking,
Yeah.
But during the day, I'm EA with the Lord Selkirk School Division. And I also I'm a youth mentor through the Selkirk Friendship Center, and recreational director through there. So I do a lot of youth work.
Excellent. You said Hugh Dillon was saying, giving you those words of inspiration, like, hey, all it takes is that one single or another great show, or who knows, maybe a song placement in a commercial or a movie or a TV show or something like that. Yeah. Let's talk about that last single, Empty, which, by the way, Manitoba Music Makers, as you should know by now if you're a regular viewer, and if you don't know, we'll let you know, is co-sponsored by the Spark radio station, this right here. My other side, talking about side projects, another one right there. We just added Empty. You had a chance to listen. Ben sent me the song today, and I was going over the questions prepping for this interview, and I thought I'll put the Bloodshots on and checked it out. That is a bit of a departure from what your older stuff is, but I really like it, and it sounds to me, I don't want to say it's like formula, but it's very radio friendly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that song was started with just that little riff, like the opening riff there. Every time we would set up to play or something, like we all have a little thing we twinkle. Keith has something that he always does, and I'd always just kind of play with that. And one day he told me, he's like, we got to turn that into something, and I had a lot of lyrics written down that really fit with that, and it just kind of morphed into the tune completely, and we wanted to kind of show a little diversity as artists, have something a little more versatile than just the usual, right? And I feel like we nailed it. It's a fun tune to play. We debuted it here in Brandon last night to a great crowd, great applause after it, and everybody was come up to us at the merch table after, and they were talking about adding it to their Spotify playlists and whatever. So it's also, you say radio friendly, it's being added to the Indigenous Music Countdown on Sirius Satellite Radio, and we're good friends of back home in Winnipeg of 92 City, and we got the support of the morning show there. Philly Joe and Kirby, they love the song, so it's You're right. It's a little bit different than our usual, stuff. But
I noticed.
I think that's
Right away,
important.
as soon as they-
Yeah.
The very first, and it's neat because you mentioned like Keith was talking about. You're talking about the riff, right, where that all spawned from. I was going to ask you about the songwriting process for the Bloodshots. Is that like a typical way of getting a song going, or is it more not riff based but melody based, or do the words come first, or does the music come first? How do you guys go about that? Who wants to take that question? Keith's got it. Okay.
So for the most part, we just have usually a riff that we have, and we'll play it at a jam, and we'll record it, and CJ will take it to his car and listen over, and sometimes add lyrics that way, or sometimes CJ has lyrics and we then have a riff and turn it into something. But for the most part, yeah.
We'll be started.
It's not like one set way that we do write a song. It's just however however it seems to flow at the time.
Right.
We roll with that.
It's funny, even just our last couple songs, sorry to add to that, but I have the ability, and even in my house, I have a little mini in-home studio that we can do. So we actually, for making of like other singles, Bay Blues, and a few others that are going to be coming out, we actually kind of built that song together. It started with riffs and some lyrics. CJ is always kind of creating lyrics as he goes. He plays that in his head a lot. But we would actually orchestrate the song right there on the computer, and it's just simple moving things around like little puzzle pieces until we are satisfied with what it's like. So when we go to the studio, we have a full cut plan. We're not wasting time of, I wonder if we should try this. We should try this in the studio. We don't want that. So that's a great part of the process too, is just taking time and actually hearing it kind of what it would actually be like, so you get the full picture first.
It's more organic, kind of off the floor. It just kind of happens. Just let it happen naturally. I'm glad you brought up Bay Blues because I had a chance to listen to that too today. I really dig the song, and we're gonna change things to the a video of that song now from YouTube. Bay Blues, the Bloodshots on Manitoba Music Makers. Check it out. Turn up your TV. The Bloodshots, Bay Blues on Manitoba Music Makers, a show we have here on WCG TV that's wide open to all bands in Manitoba, not just the Brandon Westman area, but we're happy to invite Winnipeg artists on the show as well. And this is the second time we've had a Winnipeg band on the program. I'm sitting here with the Bloodshots at the 40 in Brandon, live to tape, and they're in between shows. You played last night, you're going to play again this night. But there was some footage in that video, CJ, where you were actually at a gig. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when we played down in Hollywood, the Whiskey A Go-Go offers, they have a high production videographer on staff that's constantly working, and they filmed our whole set. And we had actually toyed with the idea of maybe putting that on, I don't know, like our DVD's still a thing, but you know what I mean? Like having that whole set.
Your electronic press kits or something like that?
Yeah. But we actually took some of the live footage from the Whiskey and incorporated it into the video for the Bay Blues, because the song I had actually kind of half written when I was in the San Francisco area for a bit, and it just kind of all meshed together, right? So we took some, San Francisco imagery and put it together with the live footage from the Whiskey, and that's what you see in the video.
So that Bay was inspired that song, and kind of neat how that could all come together like that, and you get that footage where you were there.
Yeah, it's like destiny or something,
Simpatico, synchronicity, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk a little bit about other stuff you guys have done over the years and other highlights. We talked about the awards in 2020. I think that's a great story. Let's talk about that, because you didn't think you were going to win that award. No. So go back to 2020. I know that's everybody's go. Oh, do we have to go back to the COVID years?
We all forgot about that.
But I think that's a great story. Could you share that with our viewers?
Yeah, so we had our single No Way Out get nominated for a Native American Music Award. The video shot by our good friend Lee Halipchuk. We shot it at a dingy little bar in Winnipeg during COVID. We had big ideas for this. We had like a casting call for a crowd to be there, and so many people wanted to be a part of it, but that was when COVID regulations were a thing, so the bar was like, you can't have people or we're gonna get fined, shut down. So we're like, hey, whatever, we'll adapt. And we just made more kind of a live footage video with some cool cuts and cool edits and stuff, and it got nominated for Best Rock Video at the Native American Music Awards, and they were held in Buffalo, New York.
And you're sitting there going, we haven't got a chance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like we were watching it comes up, and the nominees for Best Rock Video are, and there was somebody that did a song with Portugal the Man, and there was like a couple other big artists on there, and me and Keith were like, well, it's a fun trip anyways. We're just here to have a good time, And they all of a sudden they said the winner is No Way Out by the Bloodshots. And me and Keith looked at each other and like, did you write a speech or anything? No. So we just kind of went up, and it was our, we were just cutting our teeth on that kind of thing, right? We had never been a part of an award show or anything like that, and we just kind of went up, did a little speech, and went back, sat back down, and just were like, holy crap,
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's 4 years ago. You probably had other highlights since then, I would imagine. And 2024 is just about ready to come to an end. There's like a month left of the year. 2025, what's on the horizons for the Bloodshots? Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, well, I'll take it. We're right about now is when you start applying for every single festival under the sun. Our big goal has always been pretty consistent. We're getting new music released periodically for the next couple months. But we're looking forward to making some new fans. So our plan is to be on the road for as much of summer as we possibly can. I'd love to get on a tour with a great band if we could, but right now we're still just booking in our booking phases. Lots of applications to be thrown around. We'd love to get in. We played Dauphin's Country Fest last year. It was great. We're hoping we'd like to get on Rock in the Fields and try to hit a lot of main stages this time around. Yeah, we're hoping to go to Quebec a little bit later on this summer. Looking forward to developing shows that way. And we're also working on an acoustic side of our show as well, like an unplugged version of our show that we'd like to take on the road too.
Neat. Expanding the horizons musically. Not a bad thing. It's always a good idea. Flex your muscles that way for sure. Why Quebec, Ben? Is there a buzz going on out there that I haven't heard of?
Well, it's a lot. There's some great music festivals that are out there. One's called Pouza, which is a fantastic punk rock festival. Quebecers have a really, what I've heard about, I've never actually been myself, but I have lots of friends who always say the rock scene there is alive and well. So I'm really looking forward to it. And every picture I've seen about the festival scene is always jam-packed. They have great, huge acts that come through. Summertime is really pumping, it looked like in Quebec. So that's it's just something we'd like to go. We'd like to expand our fan base a little more on the east side. We've done really well west, so we'd like to go a little more east. We went, Thunder Bay's treated us really well too. And Toronto, we were there for Canadian Music Week just this past 2024 as well. So we're going to continue going east a little bit more.
That's excellent. So let's cut to that now on Manitoba Music Makers. Introduce the song for us, CJ, the one that won you the award for Best Rock Video.
So this is actually I believe you're going to play the live version of us playing No Way Out at the Burton Cummings Theater. We were opening for Buck Cherry and Biff Naked, and here's the live version of No Way Out.
The Bloodshots and No Way Out on Manitoba Music Makers, and that was live, a clip of a live performance where you were opening up for Buck Cherry is, well, you could see the Buck Cherry scream in the background, kind of a dead giveaway. Tell us about that show. How did that go? That's another one of those moments where you're sharing the stage with, a little bit more senior musicians and bands that have been in the business a long time. Another one of those opportunities to take away some experience.
That one came about. We had actually, I think that was the third, fourth time we'd played with Buck Cherry.
Yep.
We had opened for them a few years back at the Club Region Event Center in Winnipeg, and we just kind of hit it off with those guys. And their guitar player, mainly Stevie D, we had some kept in conversation with over the years. And when they were coming back to Winnipeg, I just kind of hey, are the Bloodshots still around, I guess? And, we'd get a call from the promoters or whoever, and yeah, absolutely, we're in, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
you got to jump at that chance, man.
Yeah,
That's good. So let's talk about, Keith, your end of it, too, from a situation like that where you get to, share the stage with the bigger band. That's got to mean the world to you guys, really, most times when you get those opportunities.
Yeah, it's the best, playing with a band like Buck Cherry. It's one of the best parts that I took from it was when they do their sound check, and it's so bare bones. They're there's not much there's no sampling or anything like that. It's very just bare bones and in your face rock, and I just love that. And when I'm watching their sound check, I see how just kind of bare rock it is, and I just love that.
Just right off the floor, in your face, go for it type of thing.
That's what I appreciate about a band like that too, right? Is just put the amps to 11, drive everything, and just rock and roll, right? And that's that. Over the years we've opened for quite a few bigger acts. The first one we ever opened for was Finger 11. We won a contest, a radio contest, fan voted. And that's kind of what kicked it off. After that, we're getting shows with Danko Jones and Monster Truck, and we actually opened for Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. That one was cool. And just like you had mentioned earlier in this interview, taking things from those artists, right? And it's really surreal sometimes, and you got to remember to snap out of it and realize this is a really cool opportunity you're getting. And it's really one of the bands that I grew up listening to was Econoline Crush. And we had the opportunity to play some shows with them in the past few years.
Speaking of bands from Western Manitoba.
Exactly. And I'm actually, it's really cool because it's being in high school and loving a band like that, and now I was just texting with Trevor last night. You know what I mean? We're buddies now, and that's a really cool aspect of this whole thing.
That's neat. That's very. So we're talking about live show experiences, and Caitlin, you're the queen of spontaneity with this band, because not only did you do that great thing where you pulled people to the stage with your wireless bass here at the 40 last night, but I've also been told that there's other spontaneous things that you can do that sometimes your other bandmates might be aware of, sometimes they're not aware of. So can you enlighten us with a couple of those, and maybe talk about a couple of other highlights that you've experienced with the Bloodshots thus far? Yeah,
of course. So one of probably one of the first shows that I ever did with them, we were playing at an amusement park that comes through here, and I had turned around and looked at Ben on the drums, and I was like, should I do the splits in this song? And he couldn't hear what I was saying, so he was like, I don't know what you're saying, just do it, whatever. And these guys actually, after the show, I asked them if they saw it, and they never did. So that was funny. But I'm just over there in my little corner, and I just slid into the splits, and now it's kind of...
What are you doing? Oh, okay, you're doing the splits.
Exactly. And it's something that I've kind of just done for the rest of the shows now, and and everybody just kind of loves that stuff.
Yeah.
We got to back up a little bit though, because the viewers don't know you're a gymnast as well. You're into jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So it's not like, you were just trying it on a whim. You kind of have the experience of doing that. So you just figured you'd incorporate that in the live show.
Exactly. And it's something that's it's unique to me. So I was like, hey, what can I do to like stand out from everyone else? And that in itself makes us as a band stand out from everyone else.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. Can't remember the last time I saw a band do the splits on stage.
Make
Can't
us
think
play
of
a
one.
few sour notes.
Well, those are the things when you go see live bands and something that just stands out that no other band's doing or no other band member has done while performing. And those are the things that are memorable. So that's another one of those, takeaways from performing and giving a show, giving them a little bit more than they expected for, paid their $10 cover for, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have a long-lasting memory. You're going to tell some friends, right? Oh, I saw this band at the 40 last night. Two people split while she was playing the bass. That's a story that's going to go on in infamy, or maybe it will make you not infamous, but you'll gain from it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Let's look ahead to 2025. Let's look ahead. Let's do some marketing here, CJ. You got the new single, Empty. You're getting some airplay in different parts of the country, and we'll get it on the Spark, and they've been talking about it on City FM, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that continues to grow, and you guys get a little bit more strength from that song. This is a great song, Empty. Check it out on YouTube or listen to the Spark to hear it. But let's talk a little bit about shows coming up, where people can get your music, and we'll wrap things up with our conversation today.
For sure. So if you stream, which everybody does because I don't know what else you do nowadays, right? You Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Deezer, Amazon Music, find the Bloodshots on there, and you can add us to your playlists. People don't realize how far that really goes. Like, just adding our music to your playlists can tap into the Spotify algorithm and really help that platform even suggest your music to other people, right? So that's a huge thing that people underestimate about that. We've got a lot of stuff on YouTube, some live videos and actual music videos, some other interviews and stuff like that, some fun things. Shows coming up, we've got lots of new merch that we want to push through those shows. So, and we've kind of grown the merch game a little bit. We got 2 different kinds of hats and toques and hoodies and pullover, zip up, t-shirts, women's tank tops, right? We're trying to set up we're in the process of setting up a store on our website, thebloodshots.ca. Thebloodshots.ca. Ben set that up, so applause to Ben for that.
I'm the tech guy. I'm
Yeah.
the tech guy.
He's our IT guy.
That's great. Need one. Every band needs one.
Oh,
of those.
totally. I'm a complete moron when it comes to that stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. If once we get that store up on the website, you'll be able to, pick up some stuff. You know what? If you live in the Winnipeg and surrounding areas and you want some merch, you send us a DM on any social media, and one of us will deliver it to your house. We like to get things.
Now that's dedication. I like that.
Yeah, well, there's a reason we've sold out lots of our hometown shows. It's because we will drive tickets to your house. I've driven over an hour out of my way to deliver 2 tickets sometimes, and it's just getting heads in the door, and you want people to see and hear your music, because especially if you think you got something to market, right?
Yeah.
So
that's great. Okay, I'm going to give each one of you the opportunity to do a sales pitch for the Bloodshots right now. Okay. Let's flex that marketing brain right now. Do your best, your best Gene Simmons, wood shopping right now about selling the band. So,
I love it.
Someone who hasn't seen the Bloodshots before, we'll start with you, Ben. Do your PSA, do your pitch on what the Bloodshots are all about. And you're looking at the camera. You're not looking at me.
All right.
All right. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ben, and we are the Bloodshots. You want a kick-ass energy show? come watch a Bloodshot show. There's never a place you're going to see a bass player do the splits while playing Bloodshot.
There you go. Perfect. That one's going to be tough to follow, but go ahead, Keith.
I'm Keith from the Bloodshots, and not really good at following up Ben here on that. This is not my forte, but come check us out, the Bloodshots. Find us on all streaming platforms, and come to a show, and our live show kicks ass. And let's do it.
Perfect. I should have went ladies first, but
It's
go
all
ahead.
right.
You've had some time to think about it.
Of course.
So sell the band.
So I'm Kate from the Bloodshots. I'm the bass player. You might know me from doing the splits on stage. If you're looking for an interactive show, someone that is like a whole band that will connect with you like as a person and not just as an audience member, you got the right band. So yeah.
Perfect. CJ, wrap it up.
We're the Bloodshots. We're going to be playing your city soon. Come in, get in the door. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Oh, there we go. There's a marketing tag if I ever heard one right there. Guys and gals, it's been a lot of fun having a chat with you. I wish you all the best of success in the near future and beyond. Keep it going. Keep having fun, because it looks like you had a lot of fun now with the Manitoba Music Makers segment. And I know you give a fun show. And folks, when you come out to see the Bloodshots, that's what it's all about. It's going to be a fun experience. It's going to be some good crunchy rock tunes that you're going to be singing along to, probably dancing along to as well. Tell your friends about them, all right? Support Manitoba-made music. That's what Manitoba Music Makers is all about. I'm Frank McGuire, and I'm signing out this time, and hopefully you will catch us another time on this station. Maybe not in a bar, maybe in the studio, or maybe we could be in your living room. Wait a second, we're there right now. Unless you're watching on your mobile device, and if you are, we thank you so much for continuing to support the show. Have a good one. We'll see you next time on Manitoba Music Makers.